Hey guys, what's up? It's Ace Trader. I'm coming to you with another video. I apologize. I know it's been a little while since I have put a video out. I've just been super busy with life, been very busy with trading, but I had a member that's part of our trading group ask me about support and resistance the other day. We were talking in our Discord channel, and I said, what a great video to make, because support and resistance is like so important. It's something that I trade off of very heavily. I know a lot of the other traders in our group do as well. And it's really one of like the most basic, but really most fundamentally important concepts of technical analysis is support and resistance. So I thought I would basically just do a quick video on it and throw it out there for anybody who's not really sure what it is or how to trade it or how to interpret it. So basically, just to start off, the concepts of support and resistance are undoubtedly two of the most highly discussed and highly traded concepts or attributes, if you will, of technical analysis. They are part of analyzing chart patterns. They're basically referred to as inflection points on the chart, and they tend to act as barriers, if you will. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you a couple of examples here. I'm going to actually draw, and please don't laugh at me because I'm definitely not an artist, but I'm going to do the best I can. So let's give you an example of what a resistance level looks like. So here's price action, and price action's going up. As we can see, it's doing its pullbacks, but it's continuing to go up. And then it reaches this point here where it almost kind of has an exhaustion move, and then it starts to go ahead and come back down. Okay. And so this area here becomes very important to us because this was an area where we had a sell-off. There was a lot of buyers in this market, and when price got to this level, as you can tell from the price action going down, there was a big shift from bullish to bearishness. So there was a sell-off here, okay? That is a inflection level in price. That is something that we want to be aware of as we go on, as price action goes on. We want to be aware that this level right here, and I'm just going to throw up a oval so you see exactly where I'm talking about. This right here is a very important area on the chart. So how do we define that area and make sure that we can see that area again as price continues down towards the right of the screen as prices continue? We want to know if price gets back up to this area, there may be another sell-off here. And that, in essence, is what creates a resistance level or a resistance barrier, if you will. So let me go ahead and just draw this line real quick. And okay, so that is now a resistance level. So I'm going to continue this drawing here. Price goes down, and then actually let's just say it pulls up, and then it goes down again, and then all of a sudden it has this huge move to the upside where it's boom. Okay, and now all of a sudden we're getting back into this kind of a bullish price pattern. And then what do you guys notice? Okay, we're approaching this level here. Okay, well, what's it going to do? Is it going to break through it? Is it going to bounce away from it like it did here? Well, we really don't know. We have no idea. So it's important as a trader to wait and see as we get to this resistance level, okay? It can only do one of two things, guys. It can either do this, where it goes straight through, or it does this, where it comes up, touches it, and then it goes back down. It literally reverses, and it may start doing something like that. So, but the interesting thing is these zones are very, very important because they provide what I call very valuable potential trade opportunities, okay? So for example, let's just say we're here, and let's just say this area has had multiple touches where price has done this in the past. Maybe it did this where it went through, and then it kind of did this, and it came right back down. Maybe it went ahead and it did this, and then it kind of did a little consolidation, then it went back down. So the whole point is any of these patterns that you see is basically respecting this level, okay? Trust me when I say price can break through this level. It can bounce up top a little bit, or it can go up maybe for one or two candles and go right back down, okay? really until price does something like this, where it breaks through, pulls back, maybe it bounces, and then it shoots back up. Until it does something like this, okay, this basically breaks this kind of price action breaks this resistance level. Okay, so now this resistance level becomes support. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But these kind of price actions over here where you're looking at, that doesn't mean that this has completely been violated. Just because it breaks above it for a day or two or whatever period you're trading, if it's a 5 minute, maybe for 10 or 15 minutes, if it's an hourly chart, maybe it breaks above it for 1 or 2 hours, it can easily reverse and go back down. Can also bounce around right around that resistance area and then go back down. So let's just say we're at this point in price action in time, okay, and we noticed in the past it's done this. Well, the more times that this level, this resistance level has been touched and rejected, has been touched, pushed over and rejected, has been touched, pushed over, bounced around, and rejected, every time it comes back under really quick after going above it, or it can't even get above it, that's a rejection of this level. That makes this level more and more and more significant. Okay, so the more touches you have on this level, the harder it's going to be for price action to do what it did here, which is to break up and through it, and then maybe retrace a little bit, and then continue up on a bullish price pattern. Okay. Literally, support is the exact same thing, but it's just in reverse. So let's go ahead and here's our price action, and we're coming down, and then we go up, and we're coming down, and then we go up, coming down, and the market's falling, and then we hit this point, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, okay, and then price is doing this, and then we go boom, and then price decides to do this, comes right here. Well, that's a heck of a freaking down. Gee, that's almost straight down right there. Comes down here. Okay, so what is our inflection level? What is our, where is the, how can I put this? Where's the concentration of demand going to be at? The concentration is going to be right here. It's going to be right in this area. Why? Because obviously there was enough buying that came in here to completely reverse the bearish price action of this stock or this instrument and push it right back up, okay? So that's an important level. That's what we call a support level, and we want to make sure that we mark that level, because as we move forward in the future, that's going to be a very important level for us to keep our eyes on. So we're going to draw a line like this, and now price goes up, and then all of a sudden it comes back down. What are we doing as we come down to this point? Well, we're going to look for it to do one of two things. Either it's going to break through, or it's going to go ahead and come down here, and then it's going to bounce back up. Or it can do kind of like what we said before, where it can come down, it can do one of these things where maybe it breaks through and then it comes right back in, or, you know, it bounces around. So, but these are all, this is a rejection, this is a rejection. In order for this to be broken, price is going to have to bust through it, and then it's going to have to go ahead and maybe pull back. It'll probably bounce off of it and use it as resistance and then continue. And if price does that, then you know that this support level has now been broken and it becomes a resistance level, just as it did right here, okay? So as price is coming down here and we're approaching this level, it creates, support and resistance creates, once they're identified, these levels are identified, it creates an amazing and invaluable trading opportunity for entry points. It also creates an amazing place for you to take profits if you're already in a trade. So for example, let's say this thing came down and it bounced up, and then let's say we got into a short right here and we're going down, everything looks great, and then we're approaching the support level. Well, it may make sense as you approach the support level for you to go ahead and start taking some profits. You can either take the whole trade off, you start scaling out of your trade. If you're trading options, maybe you scale out and you're in a 10 lot, maybe you scale out of half of your position or 3/4 of your position, you leave a couple of contracts on, so in case you do break through this and you have this kind of run, you make more money. But if you get that bounce like here and it goes back the other way, well then you can go ahead and close out of your position. This is a great spot. This is telling you, hey, something's up. This is an area where something's up, and there's a good chance price can reverse here. So if you're happen to be short a trade, you may want to get out. If you're looking to go ahead and take on a new trade and you're looking for a new trading opportunity, this is a great place to do it, because if price comes down and it bounces, well, as it bounces, you can look to go ahead and get long, because the chances are that it's going to go ahead and continue, okay? Or if it breaks through and you're like, okay, I'm not in this trade, but I got my eyes on this, and the longer term price action looks very bearish, so I'm going to see if it can break this level. Because if it does break this level and it comes down here, and then maybe it pulls back and uses this area now as a resistance level and then continues down, well, you might want to short. You might want to say, okay, I'm going to wait for a pullback, and as soon as it pulls back and it continues down right here, I'm going to use this as my shorting opportunity, and I'm going to go ahead and short right at this point, because now I'm underneath this support level. I've broken a major support level, so this is a great place to short. It's pulled back, it's bouncing to the downside off of this support level, which is now resistance, and it's going to continue. That's a great place to get short. So that's what support and resistance does, is it gives you, once again, it gives you valuable potential trade entries or valuable potential trade exit points. Why? Just to reiterate, it's because as price reaches these areas of support and resistance, it's going to do one or two things, guys. It's either going to bounce back away from support or resistance levels, or it's going to violate, it's going to penetrate that level, and it's going to continue in its direction until it hits the next support or resistance level, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and erase this here. And, you know, most of the traders, when they do have a support and resistance level, let me just go ahead and let me just create, here's a resistance level, and here's a support level. Most traders believe that when you do have price that is doing something like this, and it reaches this level, and then it bounces and it comes down like this, they believe these levels are going to be respected. And they're looking for the bounces to take place, because you can play the bounces. Now, this is a very ranged bound kind of a price action that I'm setting up for you guys. And let's just say it gets to this point. We'll just go ahead and extend this a little bit. Extend this a little bit. So let's say it gets to this point, and then it does something like this, bounces, but then all of a sudden it starts to go lower. Well, now we're making lower highs, so this thing could then go like this and eventually break through. So the idea is that when you get into a range bound, if you have a stock that's range bound and you have multiple touches on both the support and resistance levels, you can actually literally play the reversals of these things like a violin. I mean, it is just amazing how these levels are continuously respected on both the support and the resistance area. For you options traders out there who love to sell a premium, this is what iron condors are made for, you know, where you're selling your short strikes up here and you're selling your short strikes down here. So down here you have your put strikes, up here you have your call strikes, and you're literally in between, or I should say you're on the outside of a support and resistance level, and you're literally just selling premium, making money, because price is staying range bound, because you have two very strong resistance and support levels, and you can just write premium against this all day long and make money. So that's a conversation for another time, but anybody who sells premium will completely understand what I'm talking about. And that, once again, the whole reason why those iron condor trades work out is because you found a stock that is range bound, respecting its support and resistance levels, and it's like taking candy from a baby. It's you know, easy money. Okay, so since this video is getting into 14 minutes, I don't want it to get too long. I want to go ahead and see if I can get on some charts here, guys. And I would like to go ahead and show you exactly what I mean by support and resistance. So, okay, so this is a chart of AutoZone. So let's look and see if we can find some support and resistance levels here, and let's draw them out. So I got my tool set up. So, okay, let's look here. Well, okay, so here is some areas where price has bounced. So let's go ahead and mark this area here. And I'm going to mark these areas. I'm going to explain to you why I'm marking these areas. Kind of like this one for the short term. Let's see what else we have here. I think this, actually this is kind of nice. I kind of like this area right here. This, and keep in mind, these lines are not absolute. These are areas, okay? So I'm going to talk to you about that here in just a second, but it's not like, oh my God, the minute it hits 755.07, it's got to bounce or it's got to break through it. No, this is an area. This is an area of support and resistance. It's not one number. It's not like $755.07 is a magical number that's going to cause it to bounce or break through. No, it's an area of interest based on supply and demand. I'd say this is another interesting area right here. And I actually like this area too right here. Okay, so let's look at some of these areas, guys. Okay, so let's look at what happened. Let's just look at price from back here for a moment. So forget all this stuff in this area. Let's just focus on price here. So price here came down and it did a lot of choppiness right here, and then it continued lower. It came back up and it touched this area of 662.58. Okay, now why is this important? Well, because when price literally just crashed on this ER report here, when it started going down, it was bouncing up and down, and it seemed to bounce a lot right at the 662.58, okay, as it was going down. So there was obviously something there that was preventing this stock from going up above. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Let's just see what happens. So it comes up here, and what does it do? It rejects the level, and it goes back down. Okay, well, that's interesting because it rejected it here, it rejected it here. So price continues, then we get into our next ER, it does this huge gap up, and then it crashes like crazy, and then price starts going back up. Well, it came to this level, and it popped this level. It broke through this level, okay? And it broke through this level actually on some good volume. The volume was actually above average. It was, let's see, what was it? It was 460. Average 460,000, and average was 382,000. So it broke through. Actually, take that back. Where's the breakthrough? I'm on the wrong candle, guys. Sorry. It actually broke through on lower than average volume, but the volume picked up right afterwards, and that's where we got that 460 versus a 382 average. So price continued to consolidate it a little bit. Then look at this. It goes down, and as price is going down, now you got that area that it was resistance. It should now become support, because what was once support usually, what was once resistance usually becomes support, okay? What did price do? Price came down here, and it bounced right off of that 662.58 area, and it went up. So then it continued up. We got to this area of interest. Why was this interesting? Well, because it's kind of like a if you will, a gap area, because you noticed that price was here, and then it gapped down. So I think that's a very interesting area, and of course price did as well, because price came up to that area, touched that area, went back down, came back up, touched that area again. Sorry, that was my cell phone. Touched that area again, came back down, and then it went and it came through for a third time. So now you have one touch, two touch, three touch, plus you have back here where it was like a gap. The beginning of a gap area. So by the time it got to this point where it was looking to break through, you had multiple touches. So it's a very interesting level to see. I would not want to be getting long on this until it could break through this area. Once it breaks through, then I'm like, okay, I can get long on this, because now resistance will become support. And what happened? It came back down, and it created this nice long pin bar, and it was not able to break through. So instead, the bears were rejected. The bulls retraced it. And I'm talking about this bar right here, this nice long tail, pushed it back up. Next day, bears came in, tried to push it, didn't work, gapped. Very next day, gapped up a little bit and moved to the next level. Broke above it, came back down, and then eventually it did get above it, but it did a lot of consolidation. And even though you have these bearish candles here, they were not able to push through the 755.07 level. So you got multiple touches where it was trying to push through, it couldn't. So it bounced up, came back down, then it finally did break through, came back down here, broke through this level, came back up. And the minute it went back up through 755.07, it became support again here, here, and here. And then now we're creating another level where on these wicks up here, 797.37. Eventually it broke back down, came back down to this level. So, you know, without making this too long, I hope you guys can see how these levels are being respected on both sides. As they break up and through, they become support. The resistance levels become support. As they break on the other side and they go back down, for example, here, like this level here, which is a support level, the minute it broke back down, it became a resistance level, as you see on these two bearish candles that have the topping tails on them. So these levels definitely can be respected. You could look to take trades off of them, you know. So, for example, this is a great one. We were talking about a range-bound stock earlier. Look at this thing. It range-bound between 797.37 and 854.93. So once it broke down here and you got this tail here on this kind of like this long body doji, you could have looked to say, okay, well, you know, we got a bullish candle here. Maybe we can take a trade up to 854.93, which we did, came back down, and the minute it hit back up here again, you could have looked to short this and get these three candles moved down here to 797.37, or, you know, maybe 810 or 800, or, you know, whatever your other levels are telling you. But know that, hey, 797.37 is a really good support level, because look at this. We have multiple touches on it back here. Held here, held here, held here. Once again, price came back up. So as price starts moving back up, we're like, okay, we can get long on this. We can get bullish because we know that we got 854.93. So as long as we have some room between here, which is 810, 815, we can go ahead and get long this and ride these green candles. And then as we get up here, we know we want to close our position out. Once again, great place to close a position out if you're long, because you got that 854.93 level, which has been touched here. It's been touched here. It's been touched over here. It's been touched right here. So you know this is a very strong level. Now it pulled back down, and then once it goes back down, if you want to get bearish, you can get bearish, knowing that 797.37 is your floor. That's where you got your support level. And then, of course, we broke through it. So anyways, guys, I hope this video sheds a little bit of light on support and resistance. It's one of those things where people can tell you about them all day long, but, you know, until you actually start putting them on your charts and getting an idea of how they work, you won't get it. So what I suggest is get a naked chart, kind of like this one right here. Clear all your drawings, which I'm going to do right now. So there, drawing set's clear. Get something like this and just start marking support and resistance levels. You can do this on different time frames too. Look at this. We can go into a 4-hour and mark here. Can mark here. And guys, the more you practice at this, the faster you will get. You'll start seeing support and resistance levels so fast that it'll make your head spin. You'll just be like, wow. I mean, like, look at this. This is awesome. Look at this level. This is great. You had price rejecting here on resistance, broke through it, and literally it became support. The minute it broke through it, and it went back down, it became support, and it bounced right back up from it. So these can be drawn on, like I said, these can be drawn on any time frame. Look at this one. This is kind of cool. Extend that out, had a big old gap up, and what happened? It immediately started this, used this area as a support level, and when it broke through and down, and it used 803 as a support level, when it bounced back up, 853 immediately became the resistance, and once again, you had a lot of chop through there. I'm going to go ahead and clear this, and then we are going a little long on this video, so I'm going to try to wrap this up here in a quick moment. I'm going to try to bring up one other chart of just something, hopefully that won't have any lines on it that I haven't traded in a long time. Let's see if I can bring up this one here, SLB Schlumberger. Okay, yeah, I haven't traded Schlumberger in a minute. But let's go and let's look at how we can use this on an intraday. Let's look at a 15-minute and just see. So here's a 15-minute chart. This is interesting. If I was day trading, I would want some of these levels. I would want to know where some of these levels are at, you know. Look at this one right here. And as you guys, I'm drawing these, look at price and look at how price is respecting these areas that I'm drawing. I mean, it's not because I'm drawing them, they're respecting them. They're respecting them because these are these are price points that are have supply and demand in them. You know, these are areas that other traders are looking at as well. And you can see from price action that these areas are respected, you know. So, I mean, if I was day trading Schlumberger today, well, I mean, let's look. Today, what is today? The 19th, right? Okay, so here we are. This is the 19th. So, you know, price opened, and when price opened, I mean, already we have immediately pushes up, but we already know that we have a resistance level it's pushing up into. So are we going to really go long on a day trade when price gets up here, knowing that we have a 15-minute resistance level here? Trust me, and you also want to have multiple time frames on your support and resistance levels when you're trading intraday. You want to know where the daily levels are. You want to know where the hourly levels are. But no, we wouldn't want to take the trade here because we're too close to the resistance level. It's not a good risk or reward. So we would want to wait. We'd want to see price bust through this, or we'd want to see exactly what happened. See a rollover, which is exactly what happened. So you could have shorted right here and shorted it down here. What is that? That's, let's say you shorted it right here at 40. Let's say you waited for it to break $45 because that's kind of a psychological number. Say you got it at 44.97. You could have rode that down to 44.74, 44.70. So you got a what, 30-cent move? But if you're trading options and you're leveraged, you can make a lot of money at 30 cents. If you're trading the shares, depending on how many shares you buy, you can make a lot of money with a 30-cent move, you know? Then we see once this price level broke through 45.11 and it broke through it nicely there, well, now we can go ahead and get in on this candle. We can take the ride up, you know, and we get what? 45.22. Let's say we get doji. Let's say we get out right here because things get a little crazy. So 45.22 to 45.63. I mean, what is that? A 45-cent, 50-cent move. I mean, 50-cent move. If you're leveraged on options, you're making money. If you're buying shares, depending on how many shares you're buying, you're making money. So the idea is these levels, they're not just for dailies and weekly charts and long-term time frames. You want to get these levels even on your intraday time frames because they will make a world of difference to you when you are trading. Okay. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry if it went a little bit long, but I definitely wanted to go ahead and try to explain how phenomenal support and resistance is. There's a ton of information on the internet about support and resistance. Just go to Google, type in support and resistance. I recommend going to Chart School, which is, I believe, stockcharts.com. If you go to their chart school and type in support and resistance, they have a ton of material on support and resistance. Just start drawing them. If you start drawing them on your naked charts, I promise you, they'll become like second nature, and you'll be shocked when you're in trades and price reaches those levels and how price just rejects them, turns away from them. And like I said, they're great entry points or they're great exit points if you're in a trade to take your profits, okay? I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up on the video. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And let me know if there's anything else you want me to do videos on. I'll be happy to. This is Ace saying trade well, and I'll talk to you guys soon.